Smile 2. Wow. Let's talk
Everyone,
about it.
Turn your frowns fucking upside down.
Hell yeah. Turn your frowns upside down.
Smiling today.
It is a Smile winter, my guy. It is. We saw Smile 2 days ago.
Two
days ago in a sort of a semi, not really packed theater. There's like 5 other people there. It's quite quiet actually. I freaking loved it, man. What about you?
I had such a good time. I had a very good time. This I wouldn't say my expectations were in the toilet. They weren't in the toilet. I just thought, Smile 1 was fun.
Yeah.
Pretty regular horror film you'd get in this current climate.
Mm-hmm.
Smile 2 will be funny. We'll breeze by, which it did breeze by, I have to say.
It did.
But this is kind of crazy. This was kind of nuts. There was a lot I didn't think it would be like as I guess surrealistic as I thought it would be. They love to do this like drifting between reality and what is and isn't reality, which I thought was pretty fucking tight.
It was really cool.
Naomi Scott, I have to give it up. She fucking killed it. I thought she was amazing.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite like leading performances I've seen in a very long time, man. She cooked. She and it was a like banquet. I loved it, man. It feels like, for me, it felt like this movie was what Smile was, like the franchise was meant to be. Like, I wrote it down like when I frantically got home, because we didn't want to like write notes in the cinema like a bunch of dweebs, but I put like, they're finally like, it's not taking itself as seriously as it did in the first one. Like, yeah, it's like graphic and like people die and stuff and it's like horrific, but it's definitely lent more into like, this is like a fun, it's a horror movie, like, and it's meant to be seen in a cinema with friends or like on the couch with friends. Like, it definitely feels more complete in that vision. The first one felt quite bleak and there wasn't much light. This one obviously was very bleak too, but the tone of it was a lot more fun, I think, in terms of the horror, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it definitely benefited from having a bit more financial power.
Yeah.
And blown up,
And I think
Hollywood
all it
scale.
needed was the gore. All it needed to elevate the first movie was the gore increase. Like, the first movie does not have as much gore as this one. This one lent heavily into the violence of the situation, like the blood, the guts, the injury elements, like the detail, and that came with like the higher budget. But like, they lent into that more, and I think it really works for this type of movie, having that excess gore.
Yeah, I think it's not just the gore. It was like body horror,
exactly.
Very semi body horror stuff. It was just more. It felt more visceral. I don't know. I think it was like kind of not ridiculous, but more absurd. But it still managed to keep like a foot in to being kind of grounded. I felt quite sympathetic to the main character. She was quite difficult at times. But I did really want to win, man, because she was suffering, and I think she was able to, what's the word? Project the suffering quite well, and she had these like fucked up screams, really guttural screams that was going to the skin.
When she starts to lose her mind in the back end, like, oh my god. I wrote down that like I was worried when I first went into it. I was like, how are we gonna get on board with like her as a character, because she's like not a relatable character, if that makes sense. Like, she's a pop star, she's like a global sensation, she's like probably infinitely wealthy, and it's like, how are we going to get on board with that and like feel sympathetic? But from the get, I was like, yeah, you know what, I feel for you big time. Like, the way they introduce the mum, and the mum's like overbearing, and and so I just loved it. I loved the surrealism, like the final 15 minutes from the first movie. When you see like I don't know if you remember the first movie, when you're in the house and you see like the freaky tall woman. And like she like opens her mouth and she's like, oh, this weird creature. Yeah, that energy is basically most of this movie, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think this franchise is going to shine, is when it leans into like the weird and wacky, what's real, what's not, surreal elements. Because they were the best parts of this movie, right?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know. It's the surrealist stuff was great. I did love how, I think the mixture of it being so fucking bizarre. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's pretty like human displays of neuroticism and depression, anxiety, whatever.
Yeah.
Just thrown in. It was a nice. They got the mix right. They something came together here, and it was a lot of fun. It was tense. I think it was quite tense. I was pretty. I'm not so good with jump scares in the theater, so I was like, oh no, fuck.
Yeah, you were nervous, dude. I won't lie. Like you were going into it. You were worried, dude. And
look, give me all the blood and guts. It won't faze me. Surprises, I don't really like surprises. I think they're kind of fucked up. So I don't.
Yeah, I'd say the jump scares were like.
There wasn't that many.
It didn't feel like when we saw Oddity, I was like, this is so unnecessary.
Yeah.
This one felt way more like, oh, this makes sense. Like the jump scares make sense in the context.
I think it wasn't overdone. It wasn't too gimmicked. It's a gimmicky thing, but it wasn't really that gimmicky. I don't know, the whole self-worth angle was also pretty cool.
Yeah.
What was really gnarly was the stuff with the stomach. I think there was one point she was like tearing it open.
Right at the end where she pulls the scar. Yeah.
But
then the body falls down.
I think the main stuff that freaked me out more than any of the gore or whatever was the hair pulling. I couldn't bear the hair pulling. That really made me fucking uncomfortable. And I don't know. And I think the worst part for me to watch was the scene where she's at the fundraiser and she's on stage and she's fucking tanking. I could not watch that, man. That was I
actually remember when we were in the cinema, you leant over and you were like, this is unbearable, man.
She was tanking so hard, I couldn't bear it, man. It was so fucking awkward. I don't know. I think anyone can relate to the feeling of, I don't know, just watching someone crash and burn on a live stage in front of you. It's just never good. It's never fucking fun.
She did it so well in terms of like the performance of it. Like, it felt real.
I'm not familiar with Naomi Skye at all. I think she was in the Charlie's Angels film. I didn't watch that.
I think so, yeah.
But I don't know her. She was in Aladdin, right? So I was taken quite by surprise how well she was able to lead this. Not final girl was the wrong thing. I don't know what. I guess Scream Queen, if you want to call it that role.
Yeah,
she was great. Dylan Galula was here, hopefully friend of the podcast.
He is friend of the podcast, Dylan.
We're gonna get this out and we're gonna add her. I was gonna say, hey, one day you can please come here, please make us famous.
Obviously Naomi smashed it, but obviously I think everyone in this movie like came out swinging.
I have no issues with most of the performances.
Yeah, like they all served their purpose. As, like you said, Dylan, Lukas Gage.
That was the
guy, the bath towel guy, the bathrobe guy, the guy at the start with the weight.
Oh, him! Yeah.
Like he had minutes of screen time, but ate all of it up, and just like very believable. And I was very surprised because that was the marketing for this movie, was him, that scene, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I was still surprised when I saw it. Like, I was still surprised by what they did with that scene.
Yeah, it was fucked up. He bashes his face into the weight, and you kind of see his face being more mangled. Skin's kind of peeled off. Really cool visual. Really, really cool visual. Yeah, this was, I think the obvious link here with this film is like Perfect Blue, with like this whole. They had the same like stalker fake out thing, like the fan,
right?
At the thing, this fake out. Perfect Blue kind of has that, and the idea of just like it's about a singer, an artist. She's having a spell of madness. We don't know what's causing it. Well, that's the most obvious thing, which I thought. I only realized that on the way back. I thought, oh yeah, this is similar to Perfect Blue, which feels so fucking obvious now that I think about it. But I thought, I don't know, this whole angle was really cool. The scene where, the dancing in the hallway, and like she thinks it's a stalker, and they show this guy's poopy underwear. Got a huge fucking kick out of that, man.
They lingered on that poopy underwear for way too long, boy.
We had to.
They really wanted you to consume that and be like, "This is someone's underwear."
Shits himself.
This guy's shitting himself, bro. It was wild. I mean, speaking of scenes in that apartment, that and the bit with the dancers,
Yeah, I think that was such a good like link.
very cool scene. That's the other thing with Naomi Scott in this movie that I was just so taken aback by, was like, she committed to the bit hard. Like, she made all those songs. That's her singing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she has these songs out you can listen to now. She
they
sung
good?
all the songs. I mean, they sound like they do in the movie. They're like pop songs, and the dance routine, everything. She didn't have any body doubles or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
she was great.
commitment was insane.
She did a pretty good job of, as they say in the business, selling the back injury.
Selling
the back.
And also, I've never seen a horror movie in all my life that made me so thirsty.
Motherfucker!
This movie made me so thirsty. Sponsored by Voss water. That was insane. And it didn't take me out of it though. But my God, every 5 minutes she drank that, I was like, fuck, I'm thirsty.
This is Voss in the big letters on this bottle. Little nice little product placement there. Not little. Should say little.
It was a pretty big. And it was like every time that I don't know if you noticed, but every time she took like a massive drink in the movie, I leant over and had some Fanta because I was like, fuck, man, this movie's getting me thirsty.
You're being manipulated, dude. You're being manipulated.
Yeah, I got marketed to. I don't know what Voss was. I don't think I'm wealthy enough to know what Voss water is, but
we have that here. Right? I don't know if I've seen it. I feel like
it's like premium water, right? It's like, I think it's like rich people water.
What's it? Is it like, I don't know. What could have happened?
I don't know. Maybe it's like Smart Water. You know, Smart Water's got like electrolytes in it or something.
Yeah. And she like chugged this in such a like erratic manner.
Yeah,
I felt like she was about to choke on it at any moment.
Yeah, but they had that line and explanation for that, which helped, right? When she said about how that was her addiction coping strategy was to scull a glass of water,
which is kind of clever, but just like, oh man, nice way to fucking explain away product placement. Cool.
Right. Yeah, they must have been product placement, man. I don't understand.
Of course, man. We don't have this many. There's a deal here. No one fucking shows this many of the same product.
There's an exchange of goods and services there, I think. But yeah, I loved it. It was surreal. I loved that it didn't take itself too seriously. Performances were great. I particularly liked how it linked to the first one, and the time frame was really interesting. Like how the first one happened, and then we pick up 4 days later with the sequel.
Yeah,
and then everything that happens after that is like a week.
Yeah,
not even that. So the timeline of the franchise is only like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long.
Yeah,
and in a week she lives a whole life. She meets this Dr. Morris fellow, which is very funny. He's like, he's immediately like, yeah, we have to kill you.
Do you think he's real? Yeah. He's like, basically, you need to die. But do you think he was real?
I mean,
because obviously, the way the film wraps up, everything that I read into, basically, the way I looked into it, because she wore that dress that she was like, I hate.
Yeah.
At the start. She's wearing that at the end. So in my mind, everything that happened from the moment she put on that dress was in her head.
The moment she put on the dress?
Because remember, she was like, oh, I don't want to wear this dress. It's ugly. And at the end, she's wearing that same dress.
But did she wear the dress when she was seeing the drug dealer? Like, was that before or after?
No, it was after that. The drug dealer thing was after that.
So you think...
No, sorry, the drug dealer thing was before that.
Okay, so she would have been infected.
That was that scene where she's looking in the mirror and she sees behind.
Right, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way it wraps up, I think it's assumed that everything that happens between that scene of the smile thing, when it like touches her and makes her smile, everything after that is in her own head.
Yeah, I think that seems the clearest thing. But part of me would like them to do a Saw, right? Smile 10, Mr. Dr. Morris comes in. I'm in two minds about what they should do with Smile. Either they should end it on the next one, or they should just full blown keep doing this forever. Saw the shit out of this. I want like Smile 20. I think it can go there. It will get fucked up. I don't know I don't know. You kind of need a happy ending at some point because these are very nihilistic films so far.
Yeah, they don't end good.
No, they're like, oh, you will fall prey to your insecurities. and all
Yeah.
these like ideas you have, they are all true
Yeah.
type beat. It's like,
Well,
oh man, bummer.
before we talk about Smile 3, because I definitely think we should end on talking about where the third one would go. Did you have any other points about the movie, things that you really liked?
Yeah, my notes are a bit scattered because it was done pretty fresh after seeing it.
Well, there was
I
some
don't know.
that I really liked that was subtle, where, you know, when Lukas Gage character fucking hits him with the weight and he dies, and then when she like keeps seeing him around the house, the
Yeah.
noise that she hears is like the sound of his jaw swinging.
Oh yeah.
Like
that
the
was
jaw
tight.
hit, like, yeah, that was like such a little detail that was like, that's sick. Was there
Yeah.
anything that you were like, oh, I know where this is going at any point?
I mean, I always figured she was gonna kill someone from the audience.
Yeah.
That seems to be the big. I mean, if you're gonna do a pop star angle
Yeah.
thing,
That felt like it was coming. Yeah.
it was
big time.
telegraphed, but you know, you can work around it. I think they did a pretty good job of like taking you in different places.
Yeah.
A lot of it was helped by this. They would just focus on this handy cam type thing, which I thought was amazing. They
Mhm.
would go like handheld and just kind of not found footage but just slightly make it a bit more erratic. That was
Yeah.
nice. The score, fantastic. It's like synthy, almost 80s, but a bit modernized type score.
Really,
It's really cool.
really love the score.
Yeah, I thought
I can hear it in my head.
Yeah.
That shit.
tremendous.
It was really cool. Tremendous is the word, man.
Tremendous.
Yeah, I think that I kind of thought I saw coming was the best friend.
Yeah.
I was like, she's forgiving us so easy. This can't be.
Yeah.
It's too convenient for her just to give it like. She had no growth as like a character. I was like, she's a pretty flat character. She can't be who she says she is.
She just comes in.
Turns out she wasn't.
Yeah. She it was a bit like, hey, she did forgive whatever this breakup, whatever happened.
Yeah.
I guess she called her like a cunt. I don't know if we could say that, but they said it a bunch.
Yeah.
She called her a cunt or whatever. You see these text messages which are like
wild.
Fuck you. You are, as in like letter U and R,
you are.
Bitch.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, that was so funny.
Another good piece of like texts in film. Never seem to crack me up. They always crack me up. I mean, always fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like a pretty nasty one. It felt like if I gave it too quickly.
Yeah, I think this was in the. I guess it was in a drug addiction days. Speaking of, fuck, how did we forget? Ray Nicholson.
Yeah, that is John Nicholson's son, Jack Nicholson's son.
Yeah, and fuck, did he live up to that name in that car scene?
Yeah, he looks exactly like the fucker, man.
It was scary as hell, man. Where was he when Dr. Sleep came out? He would have been the perfect casting, dude.
Yeah.
I was like so just transfixed with his performance in that car scene.
Yeah, he was great.
He's like, you're going to cry. Where? He's like, oh, you're going to cry. I was like, this guy's cooking, dude. This guy's cooking. I'm so surprised at how little screen time he had, but he was like,
I mean, he was on the poster and he's on like the posters out
all over the market, man. All over the market.
But he's cool, man. I think he's fun, you know.
Yeah.
You're gonna cry, you bitch. You're gonna cry.
It's fucking gold, man.
Do you think she was justified in essentially killing him?
No, dude. She like grabbed the wheel. That's fucked.
He was taunting her.
Like he was obviously none of them were in the right. Like, but she grabbed the wheel. He was, he was driving like a psychopath, but fucking ramming him off the road is crazy. And that was such a gross like start to the movie, right? Where you see her in the car just crying and screaming and stuff.
Oh yeah, the Drew Barrymore. Did you like the Drew Barrymore scene?
Oh dude, I forgot about that.
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, it felt quite slow, that start. I won't lie. Like that Drew Barrymore bit went on a bit. It was like, we get it. But it was really cool how they went from like we're viewing the TV to like we're now in the world. Like the camera.
That was cool. I like that.
Seamless. Parker Finn
Seamless.
Parker Finn is a director, by the way. If you didn't know.
Yeah, Parker Finn is the director. I want to know his inspirations. Yeah. I will say, hey man, I love Perfect Blue as well. What do you think about Perfect Blue? And did Dylan Kalula save this franchise?
Yeah.
Sound off below, man. Such star. No, I'm not gonna fucking plug her thing. Stars.
Well, okay. Should we talk about anything else you want to say about the main bulk of the movie?
It's hard to. Again, watching it so fresh without digesting it. Well, most of what really stuck with me was just the gross, hair pulling, the stomach shit. The monster looked really cool at the end.
How do you feel about the monster? Yeah, because obviously we finally see it. Like, we saw it in this first one briefly, but we finally see it like from a distance.
Yeah, he's looking like a kaiju in a way, and I think it's cool. I think the monster needs to be big and fucked up. It's also but also I think I don't know. I'm in two minds whether they should like pulse it, and it's like, ooh, the what is the epidemic? Ooh, what is it? Type is it? Maybe it's within us all along. Maybe we need to fix ourselves to fix it. Type B, but that sounds actually lame as fuck now.
It does feel a bit Disney Channel, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's I think the monster's cool. I think that they did the right thing so far. We'll see. It looks kind of naked to me. It kind of looks like a dick.
It kind of did. It kind of did. I feel like if they do like hundreds of these movies, maybe the monster will evolve a little bit over time. Like
did
in terms of like,
it did. What it look?
In the first one, it was like facially it looked the same, but the body's all new to my knowledge. Like most of that body, I swear, was like bigger and newer. But maybe it's like Shin Godzilla, it like evolves.
Yeah, he's
that could be cool. Powerful. The more lives it consumes, the bigger it gets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the way the movie ends, obviously, is pretty fucking graphic in terms of the detail of the mouth when she pulls her mouth and she's got like that shit was cool. But obviously, what it sets up is essentially, I lent into you and I was like, every single person in that audience is a sequel.
Yeah.
Right?
They did it, man.
Yeah, and I noticed how no one they got 80,000 films if that's a stadium, and I noticed how no one had their phone out. I didn't remember seeing anyone filming on their phone.
No,
because I had two questions. So here's my two questions from the sequel. Right, what could be cool for a third installment? Right, is obviously now if every single one of the people in that audience is now infected with it, the demon. So first of all, can it infect multiple hosts? If it can, then what you've got essentially is a pandemic. You've got 80,000 people who are going to go pass on to someone else, and it's going to spread throughout the country. Maybe the world, because some of those people might have flown in to see the show, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, can it pass through tech? Because if it can, so this is what I think a third one would be, right? My prediction for the third movie, if I was going to do it, would be all these people are now infected. There is like a unalive epidemic in America. Young people are unalive themselves. And it's like spread throughout the country, a pandemic, and no one knows what's going on. And obviously, we'd have to introduce some people that do know what's going on. Anyways, Mr. Morris maybe comes back, bro.
Yeah, he's dude.
But then I think the way that could be like a third one about this epidemic around America and the world, and they're trying to solve it. And then like maybe even in the third one or a fourth one, a couple of the survivors from the event that took place at Skye Riley's concert goes on like the biggest talk show in America. And then they off themselves on live TV. And if it can travel through tech, then it affects like 80% of the globe's population. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be like, do you know what I mean?
It's going to infect through tech. It's going to learn. I know. It's going to be like, Smile 8. It learns how to get through the TV. Well, like, I don't know if we have TV.
They're the two questions is like, can it be in more than one person at once? And can it travel through tech? Because if it can travel through tech, anyone that filmed that shit, live streaming it, viral video, Smile viral, will then post that video and then everyone who watches it will see it. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I think like a disease, it'll be able to live in multiple hosts. It's a disease.
Then the third movie is going to be like an epidemic, right? It's going to be like a virus, a pandemic of people unaliving themselves.
Oh, do I have to say unalive?
I don't know. I'm just saying it because it's like it's just what I'm trained to do.
This is the real Suicide Club.
Okay, yeah. But that is what I think a third one would be about. I think we'll pick up like minutes after she does what she did, and there's like chaos in the audience, and then it follows like a handful of people who are there or something. I don't know, but
you could either go to the third or they'll like space this out. Third one will be about something else, and then Smile 8, they're gonna be like, "Hey, do you remember this? Yeah, it's a fucking pandemic now because of this pop star. Yeah, everyone's going crazy because all of this has just been in America so far.
Exactly.
So we're gonna get like Australian Smile and shit.
Yeah,
we're gonna get Italian Smile, the Giallo Smile.
Nice. Yeah.
Japanese Smile, Korean Smile.
But I could just see, I can see them doing like an end of the world type beat. But I don't know how they defeat it is a different question, because obviously, as you said, these films can't end with the creature winning.
I hope not, because that feels like it's a very sad.
Well, Dr. Morris's theory still isn't. We haven't proven it.
He's gonna do this to 80,000 people.
No, but I'm saying like we never got a chance to see if it worked.
Yeah, I felt like little blue balls there, man. I wanted to see.
Well, that's what I mean. Maybe that's like the seed they're planting for the actual solution.
Dr. Morris, but I feel like he's got miles in him.
He's got time.
Character.
But I think that would be like a way to end the franchise if they end it at 3. But I feel like they'll definitely do like a prequel, and it'll be like the first case. Do you know what I mean? And it's like,
bro, it's gonna be Smile 3 before the Smile.
Well, did they say like? Because he says I've tracked like 15 victims or something in the last
15.
I swear it's like
his brother was a victim.
Yeah, but he's like in the first one he laid out all those case files and he like tracked it back, right? So I guess maybe they could do one about like the first victim. But then it gets into like demon territory and like what the demon is, and so I think as soon as you give it a name or an origin, it becomes kind of lame. I want it to be like Freddy Krueger, bro. I just want it to exist.
Well, clearly the demon is trauma. I think much like every other film you'll see, a horror film you'll see in like the current climate. There's a lot of trauma films. I thought this was a pretty good trauma film.
This was an incredible trauma film.
I think I want begrudge the trauma genre played out, or trauma, whatever the theme. It's not play. It's a little played out in horror, but you can do it right, and I think they smacked it right. They got it right where they need to be. Smile 1, I thought was pretty on the too on the nose about it. To an uncomfortable degree, I thought it was a fine film. This, wow,
yeah,
I was so on board with it. I think halfway through the film, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm fucking with this.
Yeah, I mean,
this is it.
Yeah,
strap me in. Pause.
He's definitely perfected the mix of like horror, gore, fun. This really reminds me of like those old like horror movies I used to watch growing up, man. Like the sort of the ones that aren't like keep you up at night, but the ones that are just so fun in a group setting.
Yeah, like
it has to be watched in a cinema, like a Saw movie, like Insidious. Do you know what I mean? Like
Insidious, yeah.
Sinister movies that aren't like the scariest thing in the world, doesn't test your limits, but it like just makes you so like the experience of watching it is unmatched, man. Like watching that in the cinema, like I couldn't imagine watching that on my own at home. It'd be so fucking boring.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the vibe is different with people.
It's I think it helped seeing it in the cinema. I don't know if the cinema magic got to me a little, whatever that is.
Nah,
but
I think a good film's a good film. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, will I see this? I don't know. I'm too scared to watch it on my own. I don't know. I don't want this feeling to go away. I don't want to not enjoy Smile. I think it's good though. I think it's very good.
It's very good. Very good. I recommend it big time.
It's approved by the Beans.
The Beans approved.
I have not got many detailed notes apart from just being like, wow, dude, this was sick.
That was a movie.
Yeah. I didn't get to go full Roger Ebert. Not that I ever do on this.
No, but it's good. I mean, it's nice to watch something that is just good.
No complaints from me. Yeah.
No complaints from me either. But I'm sure we'll find some stinkers
Yeah.
down the line.
Is this episode 1? We dropping this?
This is episode 1.
Hell yeah. Okay. Smile 2.
Smile 2, baby.
Episode 1.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.